place to go where they are free. Disagree and we may argue, but we have never been at war. In spite of all that we have been through, we are still one Zambia, one nation under God.
My Zambia, my identity, this is who I am, it's who you are. My Zambia, my identity, this is who I am, it's who you are.
Tizibane, Tuzibane, Tihibane, Twishibane, Tumanyane, Tuikane, Tuliposhane, Twishibane.
God has blessed us for a reason. Yeah, all we have is not for show. No, no, we must never take for granted all this peace we know. It's all by the grace of God, yeah. Take a look at other places. Oh, all they know is fighting, war and destruction. In spite of all that we are going through, we are still one Zambia, one nation under God. My Zambia, my identity, this is who I am, it's who you are. My Zambia, my identity, this is who I am, it's who you are.
Tizibane, Tuzibane, Tihibane, Twishibane, Tumanyane, Tuikane, Tuliposhane, Twishibane. We cannot like among many nations. We are blessed to be a blessing to all. This is our home, a city of refuge. Let's be proud of who we are and of our land. My Zambia, arise and shine, for your light has come, and the glory of Jehovah is upon you. My Zambia, arise and shine, for your light has come, for the glory of Almighty is upon you.
My Zambia, my identity, this is who I am.
This is who I am.
It's who you are.
It's who you are.
My Zambia, my identity, this is who I am.
This is who I am.
It's who you are.
It's who you are. Tizibane, Tizibane, Tuzibane, Tihibane, Twishibane, Twishibane, Tumanyane, Tumanyane, Tuikane, Tuliposhane, Twishibane, Twishibane.
It's a blessing to be back again on the airwaves after taking some time to relax, to unwind, to think, to reflect. Now we are back on the airwaves to showcase what Premier Media has in store. So today we are looking at the end of year celebration, and obviously a lot has happened from January. Now this is December the 29th. It's not yet the end of the year, but we're just at the tail end. So we wanted to share some thoughts in terms of what has been happening and what needs to be done and what can be improved. So there is just a lot that we're seeing on the global stage in Africa, in Europe, in North America, South, and there's just so much going on top of the world. And we just thought maybe we could take some time to share some thoughts. So you'll be hearing from folks from different parts of the African continent, and obviously joining me in the studio is my co-host, the current and former association president for the chapter in the state of Florida. So, in the state of Florida, there is an elite group of people, and I am happy to be joined by one of them who will be sharing some thoughts as we proceed on this important conversation. Mr. Wembia, how are you, sir?
I am fine. I hope you can hear me well.
Oh, yes, yeah, you are loud and clear, you are plugged in, and the rest of the world can hear you.
Well, thank you so much for uh, letting me be on this show. It's,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's always a good to sit back, relax, and just have some thoughts, conversation, discussions on the state of affairs that we see around. I think there's a lot that has been happening in 2024. And when we look just recently here in the US, we had the elections, and somebody won the election. I'm not aware who won. Mr. Wembia, who won the election?
that's a good. That's a yeah.
Were you expecting that result?
Yeah. Well, Google says Donald Trump won.
Oh.
Um, Me, I think, and many other people. Well, the polls had been 50-50,
Mhm,
so we figured it could go either way.
mhm,
But at the back of my mind, I was just thinking that, well, since we had that 4 years experience of Trump,
mhm,
and I was thinking that he must have lost some people in the middle, because the people that decide elections in this country, it's not the people on the far right, on the Republican side, on the far left, on the Democratic side. The
mhm,
people that vote Republican, or some people vote Republican always do, and some who vote Democrat always do.
mhm,
It's the people in the middle, who are mostly in the swing states, that decide
mhm,
an election. So I was thinking that he may have lost some of those people,
mhm,
but obviously no. So I didn't expect the result as it came. I
mhm.
figured it could go either way, but I did not expect a win of that magnitude by Trump.
Yeah, yeah. I think for me, when I look at the just ended US election, the win, in a way, it was expected because I think Trump had just so much going in his favor in terms of the attempted assassination. And obviously, there were some sympathy votes. Usually, people tend to, especially if you can identify with religion, especially when it comes to our African people, religion is something that really gets our people excited. So if somebody can pose with a Bible, and you find that just by mere doing that, you are already considered you are on the side of God. So I think Trump faced two ladies. He faced in 2016 Hillary Clinton, and then in 2024 Kamala Harris. So in simple terms, Trump has beaten two ladies or two women. So is it fair to say Trump is a woman beater?
um, probably physically he is. Well, that was a joke. But I've had when we talk about these things, I've had a lot of people say, well, maybe if the Democrats fielded a different candidate, maybe they could have won. I think I think the result most likely was going to be the same, but I can't say that um, they it would change the dynamics a little bit because of the sex of the candidate. Because I've had people on the street who've told me that they think a man figure will stand out better against leaders like Kim Yong Song. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, and Putin and all that. I've had that. I've heard that on the street, and I've heard it on the social media. People talking. I just don't think the results would have been different if the Democrats had the male candidate like Newsom or any of those others. But at the same time, I can't say that they didn't lose some votes because of that. Well, they shouldn't, but it is what it is. Just some people who think that the role is not suited for women. Yeah, and you're right. The propaganda kind of worked. Of course, Trump aligned himself with Christianity. I wouldn't say he is because, as you would have you've seen before, but somebody who reads the Bible at least to pronounce the the books of the Bible correctly. If somebody doesn't do that, you kind of wonder whether they actually do read it. But
Yeah.
that's besides the point. He aligned himself with Christianity, and people are passionate and emotional about Christian values and what they think is their moral alignment. So sometimes people pick out one issue and it stands out against everything else, even if the guy they are putting in front as a leader contradicts with those values in so many ways. So but it's a democracy. People pick who they want to pick. So yeah, Trump won against a woman in 2016, won against a woman
Another
in
woman. So
the last.
he is a woman beater.
I
He's
think
beats women.
I think it's safe to say that.
All right. So I think also on the conversation we have, let me see, let's bring up our colleague here. So this is Mr. Abel Chilenga. Mr. Abel Chilenga is joining all the way from the great country of the republic, which was founded by Kamuzu Banda. I think that's a clue. So make sure you unmute Mr. Chilenga. So for those who are joining from other parts of the country, in the chat, which country was founded by Kamuzu Hastings Banda? That is a country where our colleague Mr. Abel Chilenga is coming from. Make sure, Mr. Abel, that your mic is unmuted. So while I think he may be having some challenges, let's go to, this is another country. I'll give you a clue, a clue. Robert Mugabe. Where is Robert Mugabe from? Mr. Stephen Muraga, where is Robert Mugabe from?
Robert Mugabe, of course, is known to be a Zimbabwean, but the history, the kind of conversations that have gone around in Zimbabwe says he traces back to the Matibili family whose origins are in Malawi.
Oh, in Malawi. Oh, okay. But you are joining us from Zimbabwe. So how are the state of affairs in Zimbabwe? We are still on Trump. Were you happy to have Trump as the new president on this side? Oh, do you even care since you are in Zimbabwe?
Trump comes across to me like this peacemaker of a guy. You know, like his kind of politics is not the conventional way, and I think that has earned him some enemies. But overall, for world peace, I think we are better off with Trump than Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, Joe Biden. It looks like these guys, they are trigger happy, and they would love to be throwing the bombs wherever they can get the chance. So I think the world stands a better chance at peace with Trump, though he seems like he is. I think he might not be fully understanding the role that America has as a like a global leader, and he's more like focused on America. You know, like is this guy who is saying
Yeah, it's
America.
America face. America
Yes,
face.
yes. So that focus on America also might be a bad thing, especially for a country such as Zimbabwe, um, where I think during Trump's era, the Zimbabwe he still maintained the sanctions on Zimbabwe, which of course on paper we are told that these sanctions are targeted. They are targeting the political elite and so forth, but they are harming the ordinary Zimbabwean.
Yes.
And I know for a fact that there are plenty Zimbabweans right now who are in the US as asylum seekers, yet it's not even necessary for them to do that because they are just doing it so that they can get the status and stick around there. But what they are doing is the
Yeah,
more
yeah.
they go there, and the kind of stories that they are telling is that I was beaten up because of my
Yeah,
my
no,
ex.
yeah. So no, Mr. Muraga, yeah, no, that's important information. Now, so we're gonna hold it right there. Now, let's go to this country, and the clue is this is a gentleman from the founding leader was Julius Kamberangi Nyerere. Which country is that? That's where Mr. Florian Mushanga is joining us from. So, for those who are watching in the comments there, Julius Nyerere is from which country? Let's see who's going to be the first one to get it. Mr. Florian Mushanga is joining us directly from Julius Nyerere's country. Which country is that? Oh, so I see Portia has it. Yeah. So Mr. Florian, make sure that we can hear you. So Mr. Florian is joining us live and direct from Tanzania. Mr. Mushanga, I think you may be having some challenges. So let's get back to, let's bring in another lady. I think sometimes you always have to mix it up and have a lady and like having so many guys. So we'll get back to Tanzania where Mr. Florian Mshanga is joining us from. So let's change and bring in some female power, female energy, because I think we talked a little bit about Kamala Harris. So let's get a different opinion from this lady is joining us from Trump Nation. Which is Trump Nation?
Where's the Trump Nation? Hi guys, how you doing?
We're happy to have you. We're happy to have you.
You need some lady energy.
Yeah, definitely. We need to mix it up. We can't always have too much testosterone everywhere. We need at least a little bit.
Agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
We appreciate you chiming in. I understand you are you in the country or you are somewhere out?
I am in a country but somewhere out.
Okay. So you are within the Trump perimeters.
I'm in the United States, but not in Washington. But no, we're not in where?
So what are your thoughts? I mean, we're talking about the election. Was the result something that you expected to see, or you expected something different?
I'm a civil servant, so I serve whoever is elected, right? But is it something I expected? I did expect such a fight on both sides because Trump was eliminated before, right? He lost. So he
Mhm,
wanted to bring back a different type of energy and a different type of narrative. We saw that everything that I think he learned from the first election as a leader and what people are complaining, but we also saw him bringing the same narrative, especially on immigrants. On economy, he reduced being bashful. He said the same things about Puerto Rico, the same countries he hated in the first
mhm,
administration. He continued. So he is very consistent with our message, the S-hole countries. In terms of Kamala, we thought America, I thought, so let me speak for myself. I thought
mhm,
America was ready for a female president, but
mhm,
apparently many African and Caribbean are ready for a female leader. I think the results show you how divided America is, but also a lot of women, when you look at data, voted for Kamala Harris. So I saw the woman supporting another woman.
mhm,
We had a system, we saw that African women for Kamala Harris. That
mhm.
was I saw some Zambian people there as well. I saw people from Sub-Saharan Africa just joining and fighting for the fight. So what are the results? It disappointed a lot of people, but it excited a lot of people. But you don't stop there if you lost. You don't stop there if you won. You have to continue fighting. So I won't tell you which side, but I think you already know.
Yeah. Just to put it out there, Dr. Jill Stein was also on the ballot, and I think she was a formidable candidate. Obviously, the two-party politics that are very prevalent in the US makes it very difficult for other political parties. Because I know most people may think it was only two candidates, Trump and Harris, but there were others like Dr. Connor West and Jill Stein and many others. So I think we've touched a little bit on the politics. So the purpose for our conversation is to reflect on the 2024, looking at the good, looking at the bad that happened in 2024. So we're gonna take a short break and we'll be right back and we'll be talking about something else. So sit back, relax as the show progresses. All right, so we are continuing the conversation looking at the major events that happened in 2024 in the US. So far, we talked about the US election, which the President-elect Donald Trump takes office. He's going to be inaugurated on January the 20th. So the president, as we speak, it's still Biden, whom we haven't seen, but he's still president. Donald Trump, after the inauguration, he comes back to take the throne. So let's go back to our conversation. Dr. Grace, you are in the health profession. Are there some things that you saw stood out in 2024 in that space in terms of the health? Like, what is the state of health from your own perspective? Is it improving, or what would you say to that?
In terms of health, I was going to touch on when you question. I was going to touch on policy. When you look at
Mhm,
health, I do think that we are still post-pandemic. We are talking about the highlights, what happened, the vaccination, and the U.S. really donated a lot of vaccination of COVID, right? And I know that U.S. is supporting the global health. The U.S. continues on HWO, and you know who's the head of HWO? Who? He's the first African man from Ethiopia, a good friend of mine, Todros, who actually faced an event. I think in a few days he was almost shot. So we look at the partnership between the United States and the World Health Organization has strengthened in the past year. And we are looking also at malaria and tuberculosis and HIV/AIDS that is still prevalent in Zambia. I'm looking at the relationship on an international level. The global health agenda in the US, we don't know moving forward. but the U.S. does remain as a key player in making, I'll say, the shift in partnership with different countries who understand that good health means good economy. When you have a good health, that means you can go to work and support your kids. When you don't have a good health system, and you are sick, you're just going to remain at home. So we're looking at universal health care, and you guys have the shooting of someone who's doing the insurance. So we see the debate towards the end of 2024. Right now, the debate about healthcare, the coverage, the U.S. discusses around the equity. There is so much inequity and equity and access that resonate on those marginalized people. People don't have, I lived in New York City in a hood, right? People who don't have, because the systems have been designed to put people in certain positions so you don't have access. We are fighting against systems, not me as an American, the systems that want to elevate those who already have money. Let's look at those who don't have access. So in terms of health system, we have to continue the mental health that has been exacerbated after COVID-19. No one used to talk about COVID-19. People who look like you and I, it has a stigma attached to it, but now we're able to talk about our students, talk about families being affected. So mental health has become on top of our list. Even workers, employers, they're putting a mental health team that goes around and say hi to people in offices. So we see the shift in terms of healthcare, but we need to continue to partner and learn from international partners who are doing well. There are certain countries that are really doing well. Switzerland in terms of healthcare. Let's look and see what America can learn. So we are, in the Trump administration, let me touch 2020, we are hopeful that the healthcare will include those people who are marginalized. My voice really has always been for those who are left behind and to dismantle the systems of oppression for those people who cannot have access to healthcare.
Yeah, well said. Well said, because I think healthcare is, without your health, you don't have a life. So it's very key to ensure that at least the incoming government, administration, they're doing everything else to put, I think, as much funding should not only just go into the military, but I think ensuring that at least these systems are functional and operating effectively, I think that would be helpful.
Before
So,
you move forward, but no, I just want to make one
mhm,
point.
yes.
Everybody's talking about AI, right? We
Mhm.
see that AI can advance if we use it positively. US is advancing in AI for such as treatment, diagnosing, and patient monitoring, allowing monitoring and shaping the international healthcare. So let's not judge AI as a way of taking people's jobs. Let's find a way to utilize AI in order to advance our systems, to track people, to track cancer, to track diseases before they appear, in our community, before they attack people that we love. So let's utilize AI on a positive thing. And the United States healthcare is embracing AI in a positive thing. We don't have laws and legislative so far, but I hope Congress can pass certain laws to allow healthcare to do research and study and see what is positive for our healthcare.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's good. That's good. So I think, Mr. Wembia, what say you on basically what we've shared?
The last point raised about AI, whenever you have something new or a new trend, it creates a lot of panic. But the best way to go about it is that new technologies and AI, it's not, I think it's a moving trend that is not going to be stopped. I think we just need to get on board on it and just regulate how it's going to help us. If you look at history, every time there was something new, when the automatic elevators were, because in the past, elevators used to have a person pressing the buttons there and basically operating like the way you operate a motor vehicle. But when they got automated, people were scared. They thought that how can a computer be running something like that? It's going to crash, and people actually never wrote them. So it was it was until after a long time people warmed up to it. Now we use automatic elevators without even thinking about it. And it created this, so, oh yeah, the guy who operates the elevator is going to lose his job, but many other jobs were created because the number of people who service elevators expanded because there has to be the computer automated part and then there has to be the mechanical part. So it created other jobs in other ways. So, and that's what's going to happen with AI. So, are people, are some positions becoming obsolete because of technology? Yes. When you go to Walmart, you have less tellers now because people are doing self checkout. But something else is being created elsewhere. Now we're going to automated trucks, automated vehicles. So we embrace these things, use them to our advantage, and see them in positive light. Some other good things are going to come out of there. Uh, AI is working well in medicine, like Dr. Grace pointed out. It is working well in other, um, areas of the economy and the overall the world well-being. So it is something to embrace. And
Yeah.
earlier, yes,
Yes. I was actually agreeing with you. Yeah, we need to embrace that. Yeah. No, continue.
yeah. And what else did we talk about? I made my comments about the election. We're talking about propaganda and on all that. I think if we go back to that subject, I think Republicans use propaganda much better than Democrats.
Mhm.
They other than the Trump aligning himself with Christians, there was also a narrative that Trump had a better economy than Biden, of which most experts will tell you that it's not true. But
Correct.
the way that has been marketed and promoted, and a lot of people actually believe that the economy was better under Trump, and experts will tell you that no, it isn't. The U.S. has done very well in the past 4 years. Most most European economies were leaning towards the recession tendencies, but this country, a recession has been projected maybe 3 times in the past 4 years. It did not happen. Their inflation went down. The big infrastructure bill went through. There's been a lot of economic growth and activity. Yeah, but it is what it is. I mean, I hope the other side is learning from Republicans that you know
Definitely.
they don't Democrats don't amplify their strengths. They are so timid. Trump is on it. You know, Trump will
Yeah.
have 80% red and 20% green, but the way you talk about green, you think everything is green. You know.
Yeah, propaganda does go a long way, especially when it comes into the political space. So now I think let's go back. I think we have a strong connection to our brother in Kamuzu Hastings Banda's territory. So let's go back because I think there were some people who were able to get this right. Kamuzu Banda hails from which place? I think I see someone says, is that true, Mr. Abel, Mr. Chirenga? Is the Hastings Kamuzu Banda from Malawi? Yeah, I don't know if
Yes,
your audio.
yes, he's from Malawi.
Oh, good. We are actually happy to have you joining us from Malawi. So, welcome to our show, Mr. Chilenga. Hopefully things are okay in Malawi. Would you say things are better from the times of Kamuzu to now?
Yeah, I would say so. There's been a very good transition, although we have, sometimes when there are some changes, we also face some difficulties. But I would say from this time up to now, there's a very good change in terms of development, mindset. So yeah, I would say yes. There's
Okay, yeah. So I think you are muted, Mr. Chilenga. You wanna check your mic. So get back to you. Yeah. So double check your mic as we move forward. So usually when you're having a live show, there are some technical challenges here and there. So that is part of the broadcast. But we want to take a few seconds to and then we'll get back to Mr. Chienga. So let's take a short break and then we'll be right back.
Friends, colleagues, greetings from the land of Zambia. My name is Anoa Brown Zimba. You probably know that I spent all my life in botanical sciences. Now this I want to share with you is something you probably have never heard about. It's something about a product, fairly novel. The name is called All Compact. Essentially describing what it is, no starting point, no end point. You probably have not heard about it, but if you have, I just want to give you a little perspective about what it is. All Compact is a cocktail of different plants put together, formed by botanical sciences. And it is designed not to work like medicines, it's designed to work on the body as an ecosystem. As you probably know, medicines work on a specified, localized clinical indicator. All Compact doesn't work that way. It works from ecosystem base. And that's why it crosses from clinical limitations or boundary definitions like virus, bacteria, fungal, across the non-communicables, everything across there. So it defeats the boundary limitations of definition of pharmaceutical product. That's why it can address many complications in one simple cocktail paste. So just simply to say this, using All Compact might save your life. It is this unique operation that makes it different. First of all, when it comes into human body, it audits the body. And you start with the neural system through the spine, the heart, to all organs and functionalities in the stomach, through to the bone marrows in the legs. In 10 minutes, it has finished the process of checking or auditing. And it will pick whatever it is, whether we picked it clinically or not, it doesn't matter. And then it begins to clean the body. And it uses 3 mediums to clean. First of all, it is sweating. That it starts almost at minute 2. And then a flash comes, maybe in minute 10 or slightly earlier or later. The splash is not a vomit because there's no warning, there's no nausea. And then it begins to repair the body and regenerate it. Things that were dysfunctional begin to function again. This is a gift to this generation. It might just save your life. We urge you, ask about it, access it, use it. It might just change your health landscape. We wish you well, and from All Compact team, we're delighted and we're here to save you.
We are back and direct and live, and I have Mr. Charles Wembia joining me as we share some thoughts on the events that happened in 2024. So we've touched a little bit about the politics. What else, Mr. Wembia? I know you were sworn in. We are talking about Trump is to be sworn in, but you have been sworn in. Can you tell us a little bit about the organization that you represent and what I'm talking about when I say you've been sworn in already?
Oh yes. So I was just elected new president for the Zambians in Florida Association. So it's Association of Zambians in Florida. So we are a vibrant community of Zambians here in Florida. So I look forward to working with everybody. The previous executives, of which I'm part of those previous executives too, and coming back did a tremendous job. The outgoing executive did a great job. So we're just trying to keep the organization growing and keep staging high. So I was approached to run again, and I did. So here I am. So we'll continue working together with the Zambians in Florida.
Good. Yeah, it's one of the things that I see so often in the African community is that people tend to shy away when it comes to saving. We need people to step up, not only in the community in Florida, but also other parts. We have a lot of African people who are mostly taking a back seat and somehow miraculously thinking that things will overnight change by themselves. No, that's not the approach. So personally, I'm very appreciative of people like Mr. Wembia, who has gone back. He's been sworn in to save the people of the great state of Florida, and obviously to contribute to the sum of wisdom in bringing together our folks in the African circles, particularly in Zambia. So I appreciate what you're doing, Mr. Wembia. And let's see, because we're having some challenges with Mr. Abel, but Mr. Muraga, again, let's go back. Mr. Muraga is joining us all the way from the other side of Africa. So this is Zimbabwe, the land which is famously known for one gentleman who everybody, I think there are always memes going around on social media talking about this great. Personally, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Robert Mugabe. I must say it. I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan, and I understand this type of Lancaster agreement, what the British did not do, and the propaganda. Because we talked about how elections are won. There's a lot of propaganda that goes around to taint a person's image. But Mr. Muraga is excited to be here, and he's going to be talking about not Robert Mugabe. He is going to is in Zambia, but he's going to be talking about Zambia's founding president, Dr. Kenneth David Kaunda, and there's a project that he's been leading under the Legacy Rio Studio, because I think most of us have heard about Kenneth Kaunda, the great Pan-African who hails obviously from Northern Rhodesia. Northern Rhodesia used to be part of Southern Rhodesia, and in conjunction with the Hastings Kamuzu's territory, the Nyasaland, present day Malawi. So I'm actually happy that we have. It's just let me actually. So Mr. Chienga is having some technical challenges, but he's going to be projected on the screen. So Mr. Chienga is representing Nyasaland. So we have the federation right here. The federation is going to be on the screen just a few minutes. But while we wait for the federation to be restarted in 2024, we're going to give the floor to Mr. Muraga to talk a little bit about the project that he's working on. Mr. Muraga, over to you, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. Like I just arrived in Harare from Lusaka. Just came for a few days to sort out a few things, and yeah, I feel like I'm in Z. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm so thrilled to be part of this project. When we look at the life of Dr. Kenneth David Kaunda, we are talking about a larger than life, African father. It's of course when people are doing their ratings out there in terms of who they think is the greatest, Pan-African leader. There's no denying that Dr. Kenneth Kaunda's name is up there with others like Kwame Nkrumah and of course Madiba in South Africa. So like any person, when given the opportunity to work on a project around such a larger than life character, you do it even with humility, but you still, that adrenaline rush to say, okay, if I can be part of this and make it happen, that would be great. Yeah, so with the Legacy Rio Studio team, I'm part of this team which is working on trying to, relive the life of Dr. Kenneth Kaunda through a biopic movie project. This is, of course, the brainchild of the late Frank Kasonde. Is the young man who visualized this project and has been pushing. It has been a project in the pipeline, consultations, I think over a decade now, and we have made so much progress in terms of this year alone, we've made so much progress in terms of putting together a team of filmmakers. I think Noah was talking about the federation, which was a 3-country kind of arrangement. I think we have at the moment interest from maybe 4 countries, including from the Nordic region. That is one crew member from Denmark. So we are at the stage where we are now accelerating the development of this movie project, where we are looking to have a 98% Zambian cast. We would like mainly Zambian talent to participate in telling the Zambian story. We are going to have, of course, some Hollywood stars, some global stars, global actors participating in this movie in those cameo roles. But this is entirely an opportunity to showcase what Zambia has in terms of acting talent, while it's also at the same time taking the opportunity to tell the Zambian story. Yeah, so this is a project that is gaining momentum. We have already gotten the endorsement from the New Dawn government through the ministry responsible for arts. And we are currently at a stage where we are doing fundraising for the development stage, where we need to do the script writing and also the auditioning. So in the year 2025, we are going to see who is going to play KK in that movie, and that character is going to be a Zambian. So we have some exciting times ahead of us as we work on this project. Yeah, and I don't know if I have to say anything more than that. Yeah, it's a movie project whose budget is estimated at $7 million US, and this will just be the beginning. There's no way you can tell the Kaunda story in one movie. Thank you so much, and over to you, Noah.
Yeah. So this is a project we've been working on for some time, because when we look at African folk heroes, most people always talk about Kwame Nkrumah, but on the southern part, we have obviously the likes of Mugabe, who is usually tainted in bad light, especially in the West. But here at Primier Media, we spotlight African folk heroes like, our very own Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, who doesn't get the spotlight as much as he needs to. But we, like you have heard from Mr. Moraga, there is a project in the works, and you might be surprised that Mr. Charles Wembia is playing Kaunda, or you might be surprised that Dr. Grace, she's running around in the show. So you want to stick around and see. There's just so much. Otherwise, we're going to take a short break, and I think we have a little clip promo of the man KK. So stick around a few seconds. Let's see if we can get that. Yeah, so let's see if we can. I think we may have a little promo for KK. If not, then we should be able to keep moving. But yeah, so in the meantime, let's see if we can play a little clip, and then we'll be back, as I am trying to find the clip as soon as possible. So here is a little song you can listen to, as I do my best in a few seconds to find the song. So,
breaking news with Paul Toole.
Breaking news. We are pleased to announce the release of the...
Sorry about that. Yes, so actually I have found the little promo. So KK is a larger than life folk hero that I think most of us grew up under his leadership, and this is a little promo about KK. So, and unfortunately, one of our colleagues who was very helpful on this project, Frank Kasonde. He unfortunately passed on. He is the man who was behind this movie project, but unfortunately, he met his end on January 1st, 2021. So we have been keeping the conversation. We are doing everything possible. So here's a little promo of the new movie coming soon to your screen.
When we look back the path which led to this conference room today, we cannot entirely forget, but we can certainly forgive the days of our imprisonment and the occasions when many of us have been subject to personal indignities and hardship because of our political ideas. Zambia does not have the capacity to strike back at the enemy because the enemy has been prepared for the last 60, 70 years, South Africa, for the last 54 years, Rhodesia. What's more, centuries behind them coming from the Western countries.
Yep, that's a little clip featuring the great Kenneth Kaunda. So stay tuned for more information. And let's go back to Mr. Moraga. So when are we likely to see some movement in this direction?
At the moment, we are aggressively engaging the community, that is the community in Zambia, so that we can get to a point where we can raise the much needed development funding. And we are looking at the month of April 2025 as being a key in our efforts, since this is the month that we will be, celebrating the life of Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, running up to his birthday, the 28th of April. So we are looking to have a few fundraising activities. We are looking to have a gala dinner. We are looking to have some activities like a cycling race. During Dr. KK's days, those guys, they used to cycle a lot, in the to get things done. So it's going to be nice to have also a cycling race as an effort to to fundraise. So we are going to have a lot of publicity going out starting the month of January, leading up to the said activities in the month of April. So we're looking to invite all Zambians, all well-meaning Africans to come on board and contribute towards this significant project. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Moraga, for that. We look forward to many great things to come. So as we proceed, so let me bring up my good friend here, Mr. Charles Wembia. What's your take on the great Kenneth Kaunda? Any special memories that come to mind?
First of all, thank you to the late Kasson and everybody who's working on this project. That is very good. Kenneth Kaunda did so much. He was selfless, because even back in the day after independence, he didn't just fold his hands and say, well, we've gained our independence, but he risked his life and this country and this country's resources to help other countries to be liberated. He was in the forefront towards the liberation of South Africa, Namibia, Zimbabwe. And beyond that, he used to reach out to neighboring countries that, were still struggling either politically, economically. Back in the early 70s, we still had, little money, and we would reach out to our neighbors and help them where we can. It was spearheaded by Kenneth Kaunda. And he believed in his people. He believed that we can write our own story. This is why we had nationalized companies. We ran our own mines. You saw how thriving the copper belt was back in the day. We had some issues here and there, but mostly what we're earning from there was coming from us and to us and to our people. He was the vision of creating a local industries. Remember, Tip Top was an alternative to products like Fanta and Coca-Cola. Those were locally generated drinks. So he had an economic vision, he had a local political vision, and then it went beyond the borders. So it's worth to celebrate a man like that.
Yes, yes, well said. Yeah, I remember the days of TikTok, Quench, Cadbury Sweps. So now Kaunda used to say his best friend, I think, as late as when Madiba was, I think, dying. There was a time when Kaunda was asked who his best friend was, and his best friend hails from this man, let's say Mr. Florian Mushanga. His best friend of Kenneth Kaunda, from Kenneth Kaunda himself. Do you know Mr. Mushanga, who Kaunda said was his best friend? Okay, I don't know if you can hear us, Mr. Mushanga. Okay, I don't know if, yeah, so Kaunda said his best friend was Julius Kamberanji Nyerere, who is obviously from Tanzania, the place where Mr. Mushanga is joining us from. But I think there might be some technical challenges. So let's see if maybe Dr. Grace is available. Let's see, Dr. Grace will be joining us shortly, but I think we are having some technical challenges from the other side. Let's see. Let's take a short break and then we'll have Dr. Grace. She has some thoughts to add on this. Otherwise, Mr. Mushanga, do your very best to see what you can do on your end. Otherwise, we'll be right back after a short message. So I think it's a good time to play a song. So the climate is something that is very real, and there's a lot that has just been happening in terms of cutting down trees, and this will lead to our follow-up conversation. In Zambia, obviously, there's just been so much in terms of climate-related events, drought, and there's a beautiful song which was put together by my good friend artist is Nora God. She features Indie K. So here is a song by Nora God featuring Indie K. And I think there is another guy, Kangwa, in there, which talks about the climate. And the title of the song is called Mutengo. Mutengo in the local Zambian language, it simply means tree. I think the same is the case in Malawi. So let's listen to this clip, and then we'll get back and have Dr. Grace back.
Mitengo izo, eyi mitengo izo, amama mitengo izo, mitengo izo, mitengo izo, mitengo izo, eyi mitengo izo, amama mitengo izo, tisazijue, tisazitente.
right, we are back, folks, and let me bring back Dr. Grace to share some thoughts. Dr. Grace, welcome back.
Thank you so much. I was listening and I just realized I might be in a movie. I have a kaunda as a background runner up to to clean up. No, I'm joking. That's a great show. It was good to know that someone is trying to do something on a screen about former President Kaunda.
Yes, yes, yeah. Actually, we hopefully once everything is finalized, I think you never know. We might see Dr. Grace in there acting.
Eh,
You
get
just
it?
never know. You never know. All right. So I think as we are moving on, any thoughts on terms of what has been shared, Dr. Grace?
Regarding Kaunda, right?
Yeah, either Kaunda or because I think we talked about Kaunda, and then I think yes. So you had some thoughts on Kaunda,
Yeah, I
or
just
even you can even I think if you have some thoughts on the climate, because the climate is something that is real affecting not only Zambia but Southern Africa as well. But let's start with Kaunda.
Yeah, with Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, I just want to share that his life is not just a like single story, as Chimamanda Chinde says it. He is David Kaunda, a fighter who fought for independence, and also a father, also an international legacy. So when we tell the story, it might be one story. There's no just one story that really highlight what he has done. So we, even this movie comes, we cannot close our doors and say that story really defined who he was. It's also important to include the family, to interview people who have walked in a life with them. And when you look at the international lens, we see that a lot of people, I mean, Africa was gaining independence late 1950s, 1960s, early. What was going on in the US? We had civil rights in the US. So the voices of eradicating apartheid and slavery, and also looking at human beings as humans, human rights, not just as people who just doing work. It's important to look at the legacy of Kaunda, educating and also partnering with the countries. I saw people from Tanzania, Apa, you did say Nyerere. So these leaders saw themselves as a voice of Africa, and we want to highlight and celebrate them. You know what's different? The leaders were working together to empower and learn from best practices what was working in their countries. Right now, we're competing. It shouldn't be about competition. It should be how are you bettering your economy? And you mentioned about climate change. What are you doing in Malawi, Tanzania, or maybe Zimbabwe, whatever country it is? How can we help each other so that we can have crops, have rain, or just find a way to reduce what's going on in the environment? So, looking at the legacy of Kaunda of unification of fighters and the voices that were strong, amplifying voices of African real leaders, we need to bring that to the forefront and we need to highlight that in different movies, and it should not be just one. So, thank you for that. And maybe a little bit about climate change. I love Akaunda Manji. A lot of people have met him. I heard he's a humble man, but also just because he's humble doesn't mean he wasn't a fighter. He had that tenacity, this fighting spirit to be the first president. And they're not good or bad president, right? Like they have their best and their worst, but also let's highlight the good because we are here because of that voices. We're standing on shoulders of those who paved the way, who created a journey for us to be here, for me to even talk, for me to even vote. And I'm proud to tell people, like Aunda, because guess what? He has a positive legacy international and with Dr. Martin Luther King as well. He met him and they strategized, and we're here.
Great, great. Yes, yes, that's
Mhm.
true. That's true. Yeah, Kaunda is an icon. So let's see if now we can go back to Mr. Florian because I think Mr. Florian, Kaunda's best friend. Let's see if we can get Kaunda's best friend representative here. Mr. Florian, are you able to connect now? Is your audio good? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you well now, Mr. Noah.
Oh, good, good. We are certainly happy to plug in directly in Tanzania, the great
I'm glad to
country of
be
Tanzania. Is it Tanzania or Tanzania?
Tanzania.
Tanzania. Good, good. So
Yeah, Tanzania.
we are certainly happy to hear from you, sir. So, Mr. Florian represents YAUF, YALF is a big organization which I'll let him introduce and talk a little bit about that organization. Like I said, he is joining us directly from the country of Tanzania. And Mr. Mushanga, take it away, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Noah. Good evening, everyone. For some of you, it's good afternoon, and all day greetings from Tanzania. My name is Florian Mshanga. I'm a vice president of Young African Leaders Forum. A Young African Leaders Forum is an organization, it's an international organization with their vision to develop and create a cycle of radical leaders who will proffer and looking for solutions concerning the problem pressing African continent. So how we do all of that? We do achieve all of that by having our June of Development, which is the most recognized the young June of Development in Africa, where it harnesses the skills and the expertise and professionalism of young people in Africa. That's number one. And number two, we normally conduct seminars, conferences, and summits. And for this year, 2024, we are marking our 10th anniversary. So we held various regional conferences in Africa, in West Africa. We had a summit there in Lagos. In Southern Africa, we have in Zambia, at the Zambia Municipal Council, at the land of Bakaunda, and also for East Africa, we held a summit in Nairobi. That's what we do. And another thing, we do community outreach programs. And for now, we just having a STEM initiative with their vision to impact 5,000 young people across the African continent, empowering them in science, technology, engineering, mathematics. That's few to mention about YALF. Thank you so much, Mr. Noah.
Yes, yes. So actually, YALF is a great organization. I am very happy to be joined by my good friend there in Tanzania. So Mushanga I mentioned that in Zambia we also have that last name. So maybe you're from Zambia, you just don't know it.
Maybe I have relatives there. I don't know. But we all Africans, so they might be my relatives also.
Oh yes, that's good. That's good. And your president is doing great and wonderful things there. Obviously, I mean the passing of the previous president, who was doing great works, and succeeded by the lady president. How is the state of affairs in your country?
When we talk affairs in Tanzania, we can look into different angles. When it's come to the issue of climate changes and climatic problems associating that are facing us as Tanzanians, the problem is really, as you said, in Zambia, the problem of climatic change is really, and also here in Tanzania is really. And we have seen a devastating impact, especially to some places. For example, you can imagine the icing on the mountain of Kilimanjaro is now melting. We normally used to see the mountain Kilimanjaro covered with this white snow. Right now, the snow is melting. So we can see the impact of climate changes is really in Tanzania. When it comes to the issue of leadership, also, we see we are doing good in leadership. Women are being empowered. Women are taking places in different platforms, in different leadership positions. For example, here we have Madam President, Madam Samia Suluhu Hassan. We have the Speaker of the House also is a lady, Madam Tulia Ackson. So we can see that we are moving when it's come to to women and gender empowerment in Tanzania, especially in leadership, we are moving well. Also, young people are given chance now on the table to participate into different decision-making issues. That's what we are currently doing in Tanzania. When it comes to agricultural development, I can say that we are more developed in that. Still, we have a lot of challenges. We really need to work hard to ensure that agriculture is being used as the backbone of our economy. So we have to ensure that every young people are given all available resources to be involved into agricultural activities, because young people in Tanzania, and especially across Africa, they don't like agriculture. But once you have given them given them the resources they need, like agricultural inputs like seeds, capital, secure a secured market, they can participate also. Incubation programs, they can start involving into agricultural activities. When it comes to the issue of management of natural resources, I'm still having some prospect, a better prospect, because I see now we as Tanzanians, we have taken an initiative to utilize the available resources in Tanzania. As you know, we have Tanzanite here. The precious stone, which is only found, which is only in Tanzania, available also only in Tanzania. So we see we have been giving young people chance also to engage into mineral extraction activities, small entrepreneurs. So when it comes to the issue of privatization and investment into natural resources, at least local people have been involved in that processes. When it comes to democracy and the governance, we are moving. We are moving, and at least some African countries can learn from us when it comes to peaceful handling of power, peaceful transition of power, and so other minor challenges are there, but little by little we will overcome together by combining the effort from stakeholders. Thank you, Noah.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. So that's well said, Mr. Mshanga, and we appreciate you joining us. So we're going to transition gears a little bit, but I'm going to bring in my co-host to chime his thoughts in terms of the climate, and thereafter we're going to be joined by my other good friend who is joining us directly from Zambia, Anna Ziambo. She will be presenting some books. So you don't know which books she has lined up, so I encourage you to stick around and wait for the great Anna Ziambo, as she will be presenting the top 10 authors in Zambia. So now let's bring up Mr. Wembia. Any thoughts in terms of the ongoing challenges? I think the climate. We played a beautiful song by Nora talking about Mtengo, and obviously we have our folks on the ground in Zambia who have been greatly affected by the drought. Any thoughts in terms of what is happening? What do you think is behind? Is it climate change? Is it just God has gone on strike in terms of sending us the rain? Or what is going on there?
The issue of climate change is a serious one, and to me, it's a state of emergency worldwide. The saddest thing is that these countries that are being hit, like Tanzania, like Mr. Mshanga said, Zambia, they are not even the most responsible for the climate change that we see. It's a heavily industrialized country like the United States and China And also these big countries, you know, the massive damage that has been done is affecting everybody. This is why they're coming up with initiatives of, you know, some money being provided for the most hit countries in the Caribbean, on the coast of Africa, and all those. But it's everybody's responsibility to take this very seriously and act on it. Of course, we as Africans can do something about it. There are a lot of things we can do, but the major players that have caused this need to be in the forefront. Of course, on a small scale, you know, in Africa, let's say in Zambia, we know some of the steps to do. We know that we have to reduce carbon emissions. We know that we have to ease up on cutting down of trees. But you see, in a situation where you have massive load shedding, you have got to have some alternative form of energy, and then people have to use charcoal produced from firewood. So it's very difficult to tell them to stop cutting trees. But we can look at while we're figuring out the power problem. Of course, some answers you already know. I guess you're working on them. Alternative forms of energy, wind energy, solar energy. We have a lot of sun. We have wind. If that can be expanded, of course, which in many ways it's taking place right now, or it will take a little while. But we can also just remove the incentive of maybe people cutting down trees. What we do, maybe you take the lesser evil, you process the coal we have. Coal will produce carbon emissions, but you process it in such a way that it's easy to use. You subsidize it and empower the people that are selling it. Because if it becomes more popular and cheaper, then people will not buy the charcoal that is coming from cutting down trees. It's not probably not maybe the sustainable solution, but it's a better of the two evils. Instead of finishing all the trees, you use the fossils that already came from the trees that are already dead anyway. So use that or some other means. We will. There is natural the possibility of using natural gas. Subsidize it. Bring equipment that people can use that at a subsidized rate. Let the people use that while we are figuring out the power problem. Because when you remove the incentive of charcoal, which comes from trees, then the people who produce charcoal will stop because people are not buying it. It's just a rough idea. It's not fine, but just I'm just trying to give an example that maybe we need to disincentivize that, because you can't just say stop cutting down trees and then what? What alternatives are there?
Yeah, there has to be an
alternative.
alternative.
So thanks for Mr. Mishanga for that initiative of the YALF from Tanzania. So it's good that young people are taking the front row seats in taking part in various sectors of the economy in Tanzania and other places, and also engaging in climate change. And also urge Mr. Mishanga to just for networking purposes engage with other organizations. I'm a former leader for an organization called the United Network of Young Peace Builders. It's based in The Hague in Netherlands, but they are a very huge African network. And now they've got memberships throughout the world. And they have maybe 4 or 5 member organizations in Africa. So if Mr. Mshanga can look at the United Network of Young Peace Builders, approach them for membership. It's a good network for resources and just knowing what other African organizations are doing, or even the other African organizations worldwide, because they've got representation from South America. Just something when you have Mr. Mshanga's free time to just look into.
Yeah. Mr. Mshanga, your comments, sir.
Thank you, Mr.
All right, that's good.
Thank you, Mr. Noah.
Yes,
and
go
also
ahead.
Thanks to Mr. Charles.
Mm-hmm. Yes, go ahead.
As he tried to explain, to tell us the real impact of climate changes right now, and the problem is really affecting African countries. when I was going to Nairobi to attend a summit, East African Summit, I decided to use a bus. And why I decided to use a bus? Because I wanted to move from Dar es Salaam to Nairobi, at least to have 12 hours looking the environment from Dar es Salaam to Nairobi. What I see after crossing the border, the other side of Kenya, it is called the Kitengela. It's really dry. You can even ask yourself, are people living here? Or it's just like donkey are just living here? And why all that happened? Where are the trees? And when all of that thing are happening, like the tree was being cut, where was the government leaders? So I was asking myself, like, what is really happening here? And when I was at the summit, I really talked about that. I told them, what I see in Kitengela is a really, really picture of what is happening in Kenya because of climate changes, extreme drought. But the question is, when all this stuff just happening, we're just having members of the academias, engineers, energy engineers, energy engineering department. We're just having university offering bachelor degree, master degree, even a PhD degrees in energy engineering. Yet, we still have to depend on local way of getting energy, like using charcoal to cook. Where all that technicians are going? One day I was attending a postgraduate program at certain university in Africa. The universities are having almost 50 years since independence. Then I was attending evening session there. Then all of a sudden, the electrical power, I mean the grid, the national grid just went off. So we went in the darkness for almost like 5 hours waiting for generator to be turned on so that we can proceed with the sessions. So I was asking myself, these are all the university, having engineering department, having professors, having a graduate every single year, bright young people in engineering. Where are they going? What are they doing? We still depend, since independence, we're just depending on energies which were invented by Europeans. But still we can develop that. Imagine if universities are having an incubation program for young people graduating in guys, instead of going to the office for internship or maybe for field attachment this year, you are going to the field. You have to go and innovate a means of energy for cooking. Let's say you have to go to the rural areas, try to implement a biogas initiative. That will be your assessment. I don't think that, and consider that you're just giving them all the available resources like funding, technical resources, and mentorship just to implement the project. I don't think once they finish their studies, they'll not be engaging into biogas in industries. Probably they have already gained some technical, they have gained some experience. Automatically they'll be employed themselves. They'll start selling biogas energy to their neighbors in the rural areas.
Yeah, I think when
the dependence on
yeah, so the connection for Mr. Mshanga, your connection is jumping in and out. So Yeah, I think the connection
So
is
much to
jumping.
university. They have to, especially on energy initiative. I'm sure will solve the problem. Imagine young people being involved in social engaging in social entrepreneurship, selling.
Yeah, so I think we may be having some technical challenges on the audio from Mr. Mushanga. So I think this is a good point to take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to be joined by Anna Ziambo as she presents the top 10 books of 2024. So let's take a quick break, and then we'll be right back with the great Anna Ziambo.
Friends, colleagues, greetings from the land of Zambia. My name is Anoa Zimba. You probably know that I've spent all my life in botanical sciences. Now this I want to share with you is something you probably have never heard about. It's something about a product, fairly novel. The name is called All Compact. Essentially describing what it is, no starting point, no end point. You probably have not heard about it, but if you have, I just want to give you a little perspective about what it is. All Compact is a cocktail of different plants put together, formed by botanical sciences. And it is designed not to work like medicines, it is designed to work on the body as an ecosystem. As you probably know, medicines work on a specified, localized clinical indicator. All Compact doesn't work that way. It works from ecosystem base. And that's why it crosses from clinical limitations of boundary definitions like virus, bacteria, fungal, across the non-communicables, everything across there. So it defeats the boundary limitations of definition of pharmaceutical product. That's why it can address many complications in one simple cocktail paste. So just simply to say this, using All Compact might save your life. It is this unique operation that makes it different. First of all, when it comes into human body, it audits the body. And you start with the neural system through the spine, the heart, to all organs and functionalities in the stomach, through to the bone marrows in the legs. In 10 minutes, it has finished the process of checking, of auditing. And it will pick whatever it is, whether we picked it clinically or not, it doesn't matter. And then it begins to clean the body. And it uses 3 mediums to clean. First of all, it is sweating. That it starts almost at minute 2. And then a flash comes, maybe in minute 10 or slightly earlier or later. The splash is not a vomit because there's no warning, there's no nausea. And then it begins to repair the body and regenerate it. Things that were dysfunctional begin to function again. This is a gift to this generation. It might just save your life. We urge you, ask about it, access it, use it. It might just change your health landscape. We wish you well, and from All Compact team, we're delighted and we're here to save you.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are progressing and proceeding and moving forward in our conversation. Right now, I'm going to turn it over to Anna Ziambo as she talks about what she's going to talk about, and which are books, literature, authors. So let's get going. All right, so we are now joined by Anna. And Anna, she is going to be sharing some thoughts on some books. Hey, Anna, how are you doing?
Good evening. So much program. I'm doing. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So I'm getting feedback. So let me see. You can hear me good, right?
I can hear. Can you get me?
Okay. Yeah. So there is a little bit of feedback. So let me get back and let's see. Let's take a short break and then we'll be right back and we try to work on the audio. All right. So we are having a technical challenge on the audio, but we'll be getting back in a few seconds. So let's talk a little bit about 2024. So you see, 2024, a lot has happened. A lot has happened. And if you have something that you want us to talk about, you can put it in the comments. And when you make your comments, don't make them too long because they take up the entire space on the screen. So if you can make your comments, and if there's something that you want to us to talk about, feel free. Then we should be able to get back to you. Otherwise, your comments, your thoughts on what stood out in 2024, what you achieved, what you are still working on, what you intend to achieve, and that type of thing. So there's just been so much going on. So that's basically what we have shared is what we have talked about and what we think stood out. And as the show progresses, if those who are listening, watching, by all means, put it in the comments and then we'll be able to plug it up on the screen. So let me plug back to see Anna. Hey, Anna, let me see. Yeah, I think the audio is good now. Can you hear me good now?
Yes, I can get you, Noah. Can you get me?
Yes, yes. Now we are live and direct. So without further ado, I present to you Anna Ziambo. Take it away, Anna.
Thank you, Noah. We had a lot of great books coming out in 2024. Let's start with Sinners by Risha Bernard. This is one of the most beautiful books that came out this year. Risha Bernard has distinguished herself as a high quality writer. Everything that she does is superior. When you open this book, you see the beautiful paper, it has this great cover, the sentences are well written, it is perfectly edited. Risha was nominated at the Goma Awards last year for her poet for her debut novel, The Make or Break. So this is her second novel, and it is excellent. Sinners by Risha Bernard is our number 10. At number 9, we have The Forgotten Genocide by Harry Nkuke Chivesekunde. This is nonfiction. It's outstanding. Mr. Chivesekunde is a senior writer. He is experienced and he knows how to deliver. There are a number of Lenshina books out there, and this is one of the best ones, The Forgotten Genocide. At number 8, This is my favorite poetry collection of 2024. It is One Touch of the Rope by Juliana Tenya, by Natasha DeValier. I've seen a comment from Juliana Tenya there from Kenya. So this is One Touch of the Rope by Natasha DeValier. Let me read a poem here just to give you a taste of what Natasha DeValier can deliver. What does dangling rope signify to you? I asked Rami. To me, it is both a lifeline and a means to be free of life. It is my safety, my connection. When I am free diving in the depths of the sea. She is one of Zambia's most promising poets. She is also doing an MFA in painting. And this book has her images, her visual arts. You can see her paintings and her drawings here. This is a great book. I highly recommend it. This is one of the best poets from Zambia. The next one that I think is one of the great books that's come out this year is More Than Just a Girl by Memory H. Chanda. It is also poetry. This book had a big launch. I think it was at the end of last year. The Minister of Arts attended the book launch. Memory Chanda as well supports it here in Zambia. I see her billboards everywhere. If you're driving from the airports, there's a huge billboard of Memory H. Chanda with her books. There was another billboard of her in Kablonge. I used to see it when going to Open Window University. And I've seen pictures of her billboards in other provinces. So Memory H. Chanda is one of the big writers in Zambia right now. This is poetry, and it is beautiful. I love it. This one is called We Are Girls. For too long, our ancestors walked with their heads bowed down. For too long, we have been told to speak softly as if in doubt, to quickly laugh and dance to the melody of their demeaning statements. This is Memory H. Chanda. I'm so excited about her. And this year, Memory decided to take the plunge. She's now working as a full-time writer. I can't wait to see what she's getting up to now that she's fully committed herself to creative writing. The next one is My Zambian Folktales and Fireflies by Annie Molembe Chivesakunde. This is an outstanding collection of folktales. Dr. Chivesakunde is one of my favorite writers. She is a regular participant at the Literary Skills Clinic, and these clinics have allowed us to see her talent. She is a good writer. Her language skills are superb. She's flawless. Get this book. Look out for Annie Molembe Chivesakunde. Centennial Reflections, published by So Trade Publishers, is one of the best books of 2024. This book is noteworthy because it is a traditional publication. So Trade put up a call calling for poems, stories, and essays about Kenneth Kaunda. The best poems, stories, and essays were chosen and published here. I have a poem in this anthology, and it was amazing. So Train did a good job. They invited us to a beautiful book launch. We received free copies of the book. We were wined and dined. We ate great food. We sang and danced. This is how it should be. So Train is taking the lead. I would like to see more traditional publishing in Zambia. This is the way to do it. Writers should not pay anything to get books out there. So thank you, So Train. Centennial Reflections is the best anthology of 2024. I love it. I'm so grateful that this book is out there. Let's talk about my own book, Peruse Every Poem. The only reason I've included it here is because it won an international competition. Zawa put up a call that came from the United Nations. This call asked for manuscripts. I submitted the manuscript of Peruse Every Poem, and I received an email from the United Nations SDG Book Club informing me that my manuscript had been selected. There were only, I think, nine winners from across Africa. I was the only winner from Zambia. The prize is 500 copies of the book. So I've received my copies printed by Canon in Germany. And these copies are for free distribution. Right now, I'm just handing out free copies. If you would like a free copy of Peruse Every Poem, please do get in touch with me. Let me read something from here so that you can get an idea of what's in my book. The Epic of Ankazi. Ankazi's epic chronicles a Tumbuka girl's voyage in whirlwinds of womanhood. Like an egg, she incubated in Ntumbo, then hatched as Bonde, the baby of Wanakazi and Wanarumi. You can read all about it and peruse every poem. Now we're getting to the top three. Big reveal, Perfect Marriage by Malenga Kapwepwe. We have all been waiting for this novel. Malenga Kapwepwe is the greatest living Zambian writer, and now she's come out with a novel. She's well known for her ethnography books, the ones that deal with Bemba culture. You remember those ones, the Bemba names, times and seasons in Bemba, Bemba foods, Bemba dress and adornment. I love all of them. I have all of them. And I know that she's also done plays, award-winning plays, but this is her first major novel. I do remember that she had a small book with Zambia Educational Publishing House. I think it was on HIV and AIDS, but we haven't seen anything like this. This is Perfect Marriage. It's about Bemba marriage customs. Two young people are trying to get married, and then there's this conflict about doing things the traditional way. Read it, Perfect Marriage by Malenga Kapwepwe. It is, I would say, one of the best novels of 2024, and it's wonderful. It's well endorsed. Professor Stuart Crahan at the University of Zambia loves it, so it's a great endorsement. Now, at number 2, this is a tough decision. What's the top 2? What's there? It's a difficult decision to make, but so we went for this one. Dead Roots by Chela Chilala. Chela Chilala is head of the Department of Arts, Languages, and Literary Studies at the University of Zambia. He was a poet for many years, and then he turned to plays. I have seen his plays at the Lusega Playhouse, and it's great when you see them live. There's so much atmosphere, excitement, and just emotion. This book has one play that I saw at the Lusega Playhouse. I think it's Uncle James. The stories are so provocative and daring. He isn't afraid in his plays to discuss and criticize religion, the church, families, culture. I'm even sometimes surprised by how daring he is as an artist. What I love about Dr. Chela Chilela is that he focuses on marginalized Zambians. You will see street kids in his plays. You will see women. You will see abandoned children. Even the elderly, they come out very well in the works of Chela Chilala. He has a heart for marginalized Zambians. It's our number 2 of 2024. And it's published by Zambia Educational Publishing House. So what's number 1? What is the best Zambian book of 2024? It's a hard decision because so much has come out. If you haven't seen your book here, don't be discouraged. Oh, and by the way, many of these books, I'm aware of them because the authors reached out to me. So if you haven't seen your book here, next year, do reach out to me. Put the book in my hand so that I can promote it. The author of the book I'm going to discuss gave it to me. She gave me this book and said, this is a gift, and I read it, and I loved it. So she's number 1, but it is the best. It's the best. I would have actually purchased it myself if it wasn't a gift. But it's a hint to you, authors. If you want your books to be promoted, put them in the hands of the right people. For example, we have book promoters like Sumili Kipenda. Give her your books. Tell her, Sumili, please promote your book on Facebook, and she'll do it. There's Doreen Wenda. She's also a book promoter. Send her your books. Doreen will promote your book. And we'll choose the best ones. It's not just whatever you give us, but we'll be critical. We are critics. We take ourselves very seriously as critics. So now I've created some hype. Let's see. The best book of 2024. It is Even If the Stars Should Fall by Natasha Omakodian. It is a great novel. I read it all. I loved it. I was hooked. I was impressed. It is well written. It is flawless. I did not see even one mistake. This book is perfectly edited. It is beautiful. The paper is amazing. Everything is perfect. This is the best book that Zambia has produced in 2024. Let's congratulate ourselves. Natasha Omakodian is an outstanding writer. She has a master's degree in creative writing. We can all get behind her. She's doing the right thing. Let me tell you a bit about this novel. It's a love story. It's a Zambian man, or let's say an African man and an African woman in Rhodesia. Their challenges include colonialism and racism. The backdrop is the freedom struggle. Zambian independence is a big thing in this novel. So when it starts, it's in Rhodesia. We're leading up to Zambian independence. Another big part of this novel is the Alice Lenshina story. The protagonist is a devotee of Alice Lenshina, so you get to see it all here. I highly recommend Even If the Stars Should Fall by Natasha Omakodian. It's the best. Truly, it's the best. And if you don't agree, I'd like to hear your reasons why it is not the best. Literature is a discussion. Let's give honest criticism. I'm interested in your frank feedback. Thank you so much. Let's keep reading in 2025. Oh, Noah, you're muted.
Yeah, so what I was just saying is like that was a great list, and we encourage our people to make sure that at least we are reading, we are promoting the culture of reading, because we have to read our way out of our current situation so that we can aspire to be where we want to be. So just like Anna said, if your book wasn't out there, you want to make sure you're getting these books into the right hand so that at least when we have something like this, then we're able to read through, make sure at least you make the list. So don't take it personally if your book was not up there. There's always next time. And so far, I think I love those books. I will I haven't read some of those because of maybe my location on this side. So hopefully, are these books also on this other side, Anna?
Some of them are. You can get some of them on Amazon,
Oh,
but
okay.
some we're still working on international distribution. That's our major concern right now.
All right, that's good. Yeah, yeah. I think I have Natasha's number, and I think I'll send her a text, and I'll reach out. I think to the list that you presented, so that at least we can promote as much as possible of our people. So I think there are people who will be getting in touch with you, trying to find out about your free copies. So I'll send them your way. But other than that, so I appreciate you, Anna, taking your time to share your thoughts on this important conversation. Any last words in 2024, looking to 2025 to the aspiring authors, writers, poets? What do you want them to know?
Keep writing. Have a daily writing practice. Try to write a little bit every day. You can take breaks. You can rest on Saturday and Sunday, but try to write Monday to Friday, a page a day. And also, let's start focusing on building the literary industry. We got a hint from the Ngoma Awards that it's no longer about being the best writer as an individual. It's about making great contributions. Try to do something for other writers. I'm personally taking this step. You'll see less self-promotion from me because I've now understood that I have to be promoting others. Next week I have a poetry show. It's on the 3rd of January, and I'll be promoting other poets. And I'd like to see others doing the same thing. Let's build the literary industry. So it's about promoting each other, strengthening one another, make other people big. Talk about other writers, promote books that aren't really your own. You can bring in yours a little bit here and there, of course, but it's about strengthening and building our literary industry in 2025. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Anna. And as we are moving on, keep reading. Yes, Mr. Wembia, we're in the home stretch towards the end of our programming. So as we are finalizing, what would you like our viewers, our listeners around the world to note in terms of 2024, what has happened in 2025? What are your words of wisdom to our viewers and listeners around the world?
Words of wisdom. I thought those only comes from like the likes of Dalai Lama and the like. Well, I would just say 2024 is behind us. What we did not achieve, we still have time to achieve it in 2025. What we're working on, we keep working on it, and we keep thinking forward. Let's participate in what's happening around us. It's not about thinking, well, I'll wait for my neighbor to take this initiative. We are, we are that hero we've been waiting for is us. So let's keep working what we're working on. Let's participate in what's happening around us, community activities, whether it's voting, whether it's organizing voluntary work. Let's keep working on that. Let's look at the positive towards 2024. And like Zambo says, let's help others, let's promote others. That will also rubs on back to us, and I'll try to collect some of those books. As you know, we have a gallery here at Wembia's Market, so we do have some of the African authors in the Zambian authors, and of course, artists behind me. You see, that is the piece by our own Brian Ringo Chileshe, is a Zambian artist. So it's It's in our gallery at Wembia's Gallery. So take a look. And President Noah, I invite you to visit the Wembia's Market Gallery, not further on the visit. So for 2024, let's be positive. Let's look forward. We can still achieve that goal we've been chasing in 2024. And we are on hero. The hero out there is us. So happy 2024, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah. So thank you, sir. That was great. And Mr. Charles Wembia. Actually, before I let him go, let me try to do this. Yeah, talk a little bit about your market there, because I think it's important for people to know. See, in as much as we promote other people, it's always important to shine the light on ourselves. So, Mr. Wembia, tell us a little bit about your store.
Oh yeah, so Wembia's Market it was launched in April of this year. So the first anniversary was in April. So it's an art gallery that's promoting Zambian art and Zambian artists. So we're trying to sell Zambian art to the world. So we have 75% of Zambian art and crafts, and then the 25% comes. We also support um, black artists in the U.S. and black artists. So they are the other African from other African countries. So we also have a lot of. I'm learning that there are a lot of Zambian products out there, like lip gloss, soaps, and all other products, Zambezi products that are out there and that we are sourcing, and we are introducing them to uh, to, uh, to the market over here. So that's about Wembia's Market. You can visit us online on wembiasmarket.com or wembiasmarket.shop. And for those nearby, we can visit us on the 23 North Madison Street in Quincy, Florida, and check this great place. It's we have events here, we have great products, a lot of good art, like the one behind me by Ringo Branch here. So that's about yeah. And I've got two authors in my house. My son wrote the children's book when he was 9 years old, The Family Dog. My wife, Kina Wemby, has a few other books uh, too. So, yeah, we'll link them to Mr. Diambo. Thank you so much, Mr. Noah. Yeah, looks like we. Oh, there you are.
Yeah. No, actually, I was finishing up writing on what you're saying. So it's always important. So when you talk about self promo, you see, David in the Bible is said to have written Psalms of David. But I think there's another author that wrote Psalms that I think people should be talking about. I have a copy. And the book, I don't know if maybe the camera may not capture it, but this is a copy of, I don't know if you can see the, okay, I'll share it. I think the camera is not doing it justice. But yeah, it's always important to do a little promo, and we encourage people to visit. If you're in Florida, check out Wembia's Market. The website, I think we'll share it in our feed at the end. So check out Wembia's Market. And we are joined by, okay, yeah, I think, as we are finalizing, we are joined by Yetundu. Yetundu is joining us directly from Nigeria. So let's see if we can bring her up. And let's see. Okay, Yetundu, are you able to hear me?
Yes, please. Hi.
Oh, good. Yeah, plug up your camera so people can see your beautiful face.
Give me a sec. I'm just trying to get my glasses.
All right. So I think we'll just have an open conversation, I think, after her, because I think we are finalizing the end of the conversation here. So 2024 is we are almost at the tail end of 2024 as we get set to download 2025. Just like my colleague shared, if you are working on something and whatever you are working on has not finalized, you want to make sure that at least you can always start again. if things have not worked out in 2024, but be grateful that you are alive and well, you are healthy and strong. Because sometimes we often focus on the higher things that we miss and we forget to count the simple things. Count your blessings. Count your blessings that you are alive, you are able to talk, you are able to sit, you are able to breathe the fresh air. It's a blessing. So let me plug in, see if my friend is joined. Yes. Hey, Yetundu, how are you?
Hi, Noah.
Hey, good, good. Yeah, so we tell us where you're joining from. I know you are in somewhere in Nigeria. Which part?
Lagos, Nigeria.
Lagos, Nigeria. Oh, that's good. That's good. So we I know you are part of the Young African Leaders Forum and you represent West Africa. So
Yes,
tell
please.
us a little bit about how 2024 went in terms of your perspective. You don't have to give us the full report of YALF. From your perspective, from Yetundu's perspective, how was 2024?
2024 has been very eventful, very, very eventful. And you can tell from my face that I just got in very
Mhm.
tired. I think I left my glasses in the car. So yeah, 2024 has been very, very eventful. It's been a year of just matching strides, um, discovering, rediscovering, learning, unlearning, and relearning new tactics, new ways to deliver your approach to the world in a way that is acceptable. Because now the things we use, I mean, like choices of words we use to qualify things are no longer acceptable. They would say you're being misogynistic, you're being what. So now we have to learn the new way that is acceptable in order to communicate, especially for someone like me as a public health person and also a community development person. Like I'm steady communicating with people in developmental space. I have to choose the right words. Because you're used to saying, I don't want to use the words. Now you're told, now you can't put it like that anymore. You have to say it this way. I'm like, we've always said it this way. Okay, cool. So I think 2024 has always been about that. It's been a year of just setting up the foundation for the future,
Mhm.
and the future is now. So whatever it is we're doing now is what is going to be showing later, in the future. So the future is now. I hope I've been able to say what 2024 has been about. I've not been all over the place, because that's what 2024 has been about, really, all over the place.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, yeah. I mean, 2024, it's always setting the foundation to spring forward in 2025. So hopefully you have set enough foundation, you've dug in deep enough so that at least your foundation is strong to withstand whatever challenges that may come in 2025. So just briefly touch on your role with Yalf in what have you guys been working on in terms of the Young African Leaders Forum for 2024?
So 2024, thing for 2024 focus was on potential to impact. And of course, YALF celebrated 10th year anniversary this year. Very God, it's been a long time coming. And we know that when a child is 10 years old, we expect to do celebration and move to the next step. So at this point, we're talking about potential to impact. So we came from a place of just having a potential, having a vision, having an idea, just betting it, to then impacting that idea, impacting that potential into the lives of other youths, like setting a legacy that will outlive you, and then recreating yourself into other people. So that's what YAF has been doing just impacting life of youth all over Africa, West Africa, South Africa, East Africa, North Africa, as much as we can touch, just discovering potentials, helping them to make impact. You have a potential. You're not just supposed to be there. You're supposed to be loaded and needed, not just loaded and wasted. Helping people to know that, even if you don't have a white collar job at the moment, there is something in you that the Lord did not create you empty. There is something in you. You just have to, self-reflect. You just have to look within. You just have to discover it, and that's the potential. That is enough for you to start up with. It's like a seed. Have faith as little as mustard seed that you can move a mountain, and that seed has to be planted by the river of water, and of course be nurtured and grow into a big tree that then begins to also give fruit to other people to benefit from. So for us at YAUF, it's what we've been doing, just discovering potentials, making sure those potentials are making impact, and the impacts they're making are global impact, and not just directly global, but it begins one step at a time within your space, within your community. What impact are you making with the potentials that you have within you? Just discovering. That's what YAF has been about in 2024. It's been about great strides, honestly.
Great. Good to know. Yeah, otherwise, I know we just wanted to have you chime in and share your thoughts as we finalize our program. But otherwise, it was good to hear from you. So hopefully, we'll be able to plug in later on at some point so that you can share your thoughts on what really is happening in West Africa, particularly in your country of Nigeria, because I have a few Nigerian friends. And most of them, they were disappointed with the election, so I don't want to get into that. So I don't know your thoughts on that.
We can't. I mean,
we can't get in that,
one of
right?
the many things we've been about when we talk about the potential to impact is impact in every space: education, education, agriculture, politics, government. You cannot take away the place of youth in governmental policies because they affect us directly or indirectly. A few of us are entrepreneurs, a few of us are, different things that we're doing as a finance analyst. You need the policies to be in alignment, to be convenient for you. So yes, talking about election and all of that, we're all in it. It will only get better. We've got our fingers crossed. It will only get better.
Yes.
It's always like that at the beginning. It may seem a bit rough and patchy, but that's why I said even though we're talking about global impact, what about the impacts from within? Have you done a
Yes.
self-reflect? Because it's easy for us to blame the government, forgetting that if we're put in the same position we might within our own self, what have we been able to do? How better can we do if we're given an opportunity to serve our own people? So youth being in charge of youth, what have you done as a youth yourself? Can your legacy outlive you? Have you replicated your good deeds into other people? Can we truly say that you're a good person? Can your good work speak for you without you introducing yourself? Can somebody mention your name, someone, they'll say, oh, don't worry, I know this person. So beyond just the election, the government, we by ourselves, finding out who we are, being the best of who we are, and knowing that we're only in competition with the person we were yesterday. So the important thing is to be better than the person you were yesterday. And then you can now stand up to say, oh, I know what I can do. The government is not doing what they're doing. However, we're not saying that it's not very convenient for everybody, but we're here anyway.
Oh, yes.
We'll get better.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Well said. At least it was good to have you on the program. So we'll connect later on as we progress in 2025. But at least I just wanted to give you some thoughts to share your thoughts. Otherwise, let's continue our conversation as we finalize into my final thoughts. So thank you, Yatundu. We'll be in touch.
The word Samaritan is a derivative of Zambia and Samaritan. We define a Samaritan as an individual that volunteers their most valuable resource, which is time, for the amelioration of their communities. Community refers not to spatial connectivity, but to individuals and groups with common interests and goals. At Samaritan, we believe that enhanced citizen participation, which is the inclusion of independent individuals, helps transition communities economically, using education as the initial change driver, resulting in socioeconomic improvement. Our mission, Samaritan's mission, is to promote the efficacy of the education system and existing structures of local institutions through close collaboration with volunteers who would add value through the myriad of life experiences, academic achievements, and corporate exposure. This translates into effective and efficient operations through the mobilization of volunteers. Our vision to be the overarching pioneer in promoting volunteerism in Zambia through education. Join the movement, www.zamaritan.org.
Yes, yes, yes. Join the movement, folks. I think as we've come to the end of our program, let me see if we can connect back to Zimbabwe and Mr. Muraga. Mr. Muraga, are you on?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I think any thoughts as we conclude from your end? 2024 now, looking to 2025. Any words of wisdom?
I think just today, earlier in Lusaka, we were talking about this New Year's resolution that it should not be just a habit, that when it's around this time, we have to get a notepad and jot down some stuff, some cool things that we want to achieve. Let's go ahead and break it down into small actionable, activities, those activities that can help us to actually realize these goals, so that it should be a year with a different. And speaking from Zambia and Zimbabwe, I would like to also say that our region is facing an unprecedented challenge, especially in the area of climate change. There were also some submissions around climate change. So we need just to step up and be innovative. These challenges that we have right now are similar to the challenges that we had during the COVID-19 period. A lot of some amazing innovations were born, a lot of behavioral change. We started adopting, certain approaches to life, certain technologies that actually make our lives easy just because of the COVID-19. Right now, with all these droughts and everything that is not going okay, load shedding and so forth, let's choose whether we want to be part of the solution or part of the same, old story of just blaming government, blaming everyone else apart from ourselves. Let's step up, provide solutions, and create wealth for ourselves in the process. That would be my encouragement for 2025. Sure, if you heard me, Noah, it looks like you dropped off at some point. I can't hear.
Yeah, so these technical challenges on the end here, but otherwise I was listening. I appreciate your thoughts, Sam. Now we are finalizing, and again, we look forward to more interactions in the year 2025 as we slowly march majestically from 2024 into 2025. One of the things that I wanted to mention is just that the the other gentleman from Malawi wasn't able due to some technical challenges, but we should be able in 2025 recreate the federation.
Yes, yes. You know what I've been talking about myself? I
Mhm.
did I did a research on the federation, and I'm like, if we were brought together by the colonialists in that unfair environment and it
Mhm.
worked that in that sense, why can't we come together and have a federation on our own terms, economically become an economic bloc where we can grow together, share resources, share information, allow people to move, skilled labor to move across the federation. So this is something that I'm so passionate about. And I also wanted to ask, is this a once in a year platform, or we could come up with a system of having these conversations regularly? I think the more people talk, I believe everything great starts with a conversation, and this is it.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you. So basically, as we move forward, so this was just an end of year celebration, looking at just some of the things that have happened in 2024. But we are now marching into 2025, where we will be having a more conversation. Okay, say I am. All right. So we are going to be seeing more of Anna Ziambo monthly, because there are some conversation programming that we're working on in terms of promoting reading and literature, not only in Zambia, but I think we're trying to plug in also with other folks to see how we can promote, because I think part of the narrative has been that our people tend not to read. If you want to hide something, you hide it in a book. So you find that there are certain stereotypes that we are working to change here at Premier Media. So there will be, you'll be seeing more of programming in terms of literature, in terms of economics, in terms of conscious movement, and just highlighting on what stands out among African people and this diaspora. So, for instance, we were able to plug in with people from different parts of the African continent, because our goal as people of African descent, or people from Africa, or people on the continent, is to work as one and to bring about meaningful, not necessarily in form of a Nyasaland, Rhodesia type of arrangement, but a federation where people work as one to, when you look at the United States, it's a collection of independent states that work under one banner as the United. If you are in Kentucky, Ohio, Florida, Indiana, Washington, I mean, the Carolinas, the Dakotas, and these other places, these are independent states that saw the need that for them to have this huge economic bloc is for them to work as one. So that is what we hope to see eventually on the African continent. I know the challenges that people usually talk about is in terms of my tribe. My tribe is bigger than yours. Like, for instance, I think I know the challenges, for instance, in Zimbabwe, I am Debele, I am Shona, and that type of thing. I am Bemba, I am Ngoni, I am Kikuyu, I am Yoruba, I mean, all these uh, uh, differences. I think we as African people have to come to some understanding and not focus on what these silos that keep us in working not as one, but I think working together. So, in short, there will be more programming coming your way that to uplift, that to bridge the gap in terms of our folks and making a meaningful difference. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our programming. There will be more programming in the near future on Premier Media. So if you can follow us on our YouTube page, and we have a website, check us out on Facebook, or I think all the social media handles, I think they will have a lot of activity going forward. We encourage you to chime in and tag along. And if you have stories, you have ideas of things that we can do collectively as African people, by all means, you can reach out to us, and then we can see what we can come up with. Because in order for us to make meaningful development and progress, we have to emulate, for instance, the works of our forefathers. When you look at the works of Kenneth David Kaunda, Zambia's first Republican president, he was a Pan-Africanist. He saw that Zambia got independence in 1964 on October 24th, but that was not enough for him, because I think when you look at Kwame Nkrumah, he says, or Kenneth Kaunda, Julius Nyerere, and these other Pan-Africanists, they said the freedom of one is dependent on the freedom of all. How could Zambia celebrate that it's an independent country when our comrades in Zimbabwe were still in bondage? Our folks in South Africa were still in bondage. So this is why you see that countries like Zambia and others, they really contributed meaningfully to the emancipation of Southern African countries. So there are a lot of countries who took that approach. Back in 63, when the Pan-African leaders were deciding whether they should go with the Monroe type of approach, others said, no, we need to work as independent countries. Others say, no, let's form the United Africa now. But I think the other movement won. Kwame Nkrumah and the others who were advocating for the United Africa, I think at that time they didn't really have some success. But now it's an opportunity, I think, in the coming years, where you see the European Union, you can march from France into Belgium, into Denmark, and these other countries. But when you are in Zimbabwe, you have to go through all kinds of hurdles to fly from Congo into Zambia, from Congo into Kenya. It's just all kinds of mumbo jumbo that needs to be sorted out. The only way is for us to have this type of conversation to encourage our people to do that which they need to do. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Let's keep up our conversation. Let's keep up our discussion as we move forward. So I'm going to end and leave you with a beautiful song. This is, I like this song because I think at the same time it's funny. And I think I wanted to play, I think we'll play two songs. So a serious song will replay the Nora Gold Mutengo song. And then thereafter we'll follow it up with Hamududu. That's the funny song that I was talking about. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for this 2024 virtual conference celebration of 2024 as we march into 2025. A lot has happened, and if you did not achieve your dreams, you did not achieve your goal, if you are breathing, if you are hearing me, which means you have a chance to advance and to move forward. And then also, like I said, we always have to be mindful and count our blessings. If we are standing upright, if we are not 6 feet underground, but we're 6 feet upright, which means it's a blessing, which means you still have a chance to succeed. So do your very best, and if it hasn't worked out, there's always tomorrow. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, as we move forward. Happy 2025 and goodbye to 2024. Thank you.
Mitengo izo, eyi mitengo izo, amama mitengo izo, mitengo izo, mitengo izo, mitengo izo, eyi mitengo izo, amama mitengo izo, tisazijue, tisazitente. Go mitengo iyo njala iyo naona ni atu wakulila kulia mitengo iyo njala iyo
Filalaba impanga emushiwa na madefyo nefyo nsibane oh yeah yeah Nefula kaile loka pantu fimuti mwadi tema na tulekyo kuteme fimuti twala wana wetala
tisazi juwe tisazi tante tisawanonga amama mitengo izo tisazi juwe tisazi tante
It's King Nachi on the beat, so you know.
Value so. Jake's Justin right here, the ex-boyfriend. You gotta believe in yourself. Wilai kuishika weka. Abantu tabana kukuseka. Kuichetekelanga hamududu. 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 Kuichetekelanga hamududu. Hamududu.
Hamdudu IV Zero
Bonse tutampa pa zero Shakesho kuponya makilo Father God can be my hero Nalishiwa tinka teka mailo Apona batata ba echeche Wali wominga sana bench Eventually ilafike nshita Na fionse fio kabilo kashta So whatever you do tekwesha kunenuka Hamdudu ni example iweka Senda mano mufile chitika And put it to use inga ule kutika You gotta believe in yourself Wilai kuishika weka Abantu tabana kukuseka Kuichetekelanga hamududu 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 Kuichetekelanga hamududu Hamududu So whether wasangwa paka sido Nolo wap kama mu studio Let me tell you this even if you knew Nobody's got to believe in you Tekwe batinga tabalipo ukafilwa Bachama ghost na discipline inga tafilwa Success ni guarantee wila tushika Nefyo wafwa ila upone katushika Hustle your way up, something like anti-milli Transform your few quachas into a milli Create your happiness kwa komanda gracie Wikabaleka ukukuchita disgrace You gotta believe in yourself Wilai kuishika weka Abantu tabana kukuseka Kuichetekelanga hamududu 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 Kuichetekelanga hamududu Hamududu I lie
King Nachi
Failure so It's been Jinx Justin The ex-boyfriend